Hey everyone, welcome back to Love Wins, where the truth matters because it's the truth that sets us free. Sorry it's been a bit. I'm working on a new series, not ready yet, so I thought I'd just pop in and let you know that and share with you a one off video that I'm going to discuss why I still belong to a broken church. So I did a few videos a while back on why or if you should attend church, go back to church. I started this whole YouTube channel frustrated that my church is in the state that it's in as it pertains to how it views God and salvation. My passion for doing this is for people who have a desire for God, but they're not sure where to go with it or what to do with it. And I get it. So I thought I would share with you, having grown up in the church, having considered leaving, still being here, having dedicated now my life, career, energies, why am I doing that? I'm gonna read you a story, and then I'm gonna explain to you how this story has become kind of a bedrock for me. Here it is. On the same day, when evening had come, he said to them, Jesus, let us cross over to the other side. Now, when they had left the multitude, they being him and the disciples, they took Jesus along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that it was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him, and they said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are dying? Then he arose and rebuked the storm, and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. But Jesus said to them, Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and they said to one another, Who can this be, that even the winds and the waves obey him? You might be wondering, what did you see in this story? There's not much there. It's pretty short, 5 verses. 6 if you count the very last one. But the story's over by then. When I read the Bible, and I've been reading it since I was a kid, I'm always asking questions. Maybe it's because I'm curious. Maybe it's because I have kind of an analytical mind. I don't know. But I see in this story every reason to be afraid. And it's when I first read this story, it seemed completely unfair to me that Jesus would basically chastise them, get after them for being afraid. And then he says, Why do you have no faith? No faith in what? Faith in the boat? Faith that the storm was going to stop? Like, what were they supposed to put their faith in? Faith in their abilities to row harder? Bail faster? After struggling with the story, I came to this realization. This is how the story begins. See if you catch it. On the same day when evening had come, he said to them, Let us cross over to the other side. That's what he said. Let us, not me, us, cross over to the other side. Jesus' entire life here was spent doing what his Father directed him to do. He said, Without my Father, I can do nothing. And if we're going to understand the Bible and give the Bible a chance and give God a chance, then we have to come to it on its own terms, the Bible. We can't pick and choose and discard and throw away because then we're not being fair. It's either all true or none of it's true. That's how I see it. It's quite simple. So Jesus said, let us cross over to the other side. They had just been with a crowd of Jews on the good side of the sea, and success was happening. Crowds were coming, they were growing, people were listening. And from the disciples' perspective, this was great. It was awesome. And then Jesus puts a halt to all that and says, let us cross over to the other side. Well, the other side of the sea it's not a place where Jews went. Not a place where anybody went really, except for the people who live there. You may have communities like that where you live. You might pass by, but you don't drive through. You might walk by, but you don't walk into. Let us cross over to the other side. Instead of hearing what he said, I think they were overwhelmed by their desire not to go. Because in what Jesus said was not just an instruction, it was a promise. And someday I'm going to do a series for you on the profound difference between the two. And religion has made the mistake over and over again. I'm going to say it again. He gave an instruction, but it wasn't an instruction, it was a promise. Let us cross over to the other side was not a directive as much as it was a foretelling of the future. This is where we're going to end up, on the other side. If you're with Jesus, and Jesus says, this is how it's going to be, it's how it's going to be. In fact, the only choice we have as humans is to get in Jesus' boat or to not. But if we get in his boat, it's going wherever he said it's going to go. And on this particular night, he said, it's going to the other side. So when the storm came, you have two choices. You can believe the threat of the storm and its power to halt your progress and keep you from reaching the other side. Or you can believe that Jesus said it's where we're going. So when it comes to the church, when it comes to anything connected to church, it's a mess. I'm not going to say it's not a mess, it's a mess. But if you look back in history, it's always been a mess. And it's not complicated why it's a mess. It's full of us. You put people into any system, you got a problem. It's just the way it is. So if you're looking for a church that doesn't have problems, then you're looking for a church that doesn't have people. And maybe that's where you're at. The only problem with that strategy is that wherever you are, you are. And I can tell you from my own experience, I don't have to convince you because you know from your own. I'm also a problem. And wherever I go, there I am. So we can obsess over our problems, which is what the disciples were doing in this story. Or we can remember the promises Jesus has made. Listen to what one of my favorite authors says about the story. If the disciples had trusted in Jesus, they would have been kept in peace. Their fear in the time of danger revealed their unbelief. In their efforts to save themselves, they forgot Jesus. And it was only when, in despair of trying to do it alone, coming to the end of themselves, exhausting all their resources, figuring out that what they were doing was hopelessly hopeless, only then did they turn to him. And only then could he help them. So why do I stick around in a messed up church full of messed up people? Because I know a secret. The boat's going to the other side. And when it gets there, I'm going to smile. In fact, I'm smiling already. I am at peace. Not because my life is fun all the time. Not because my prayers all get answered the way I hope they would. But because every time Jesus makes a promise, he keeps it. So now when I study the Bible, I'm not looking for evidence or proof or arguments. I'm looking for the promises. The ones that don't even appear to be promises till you dig a little deeper. Hey, come on, guys. Boat's going to the other side. All right. With Jesus in the vessel, sing the kids at church. We can smile at the storm as we go sailing by. You're going to do life anyway. Why not do it with Jesus? And why not do it with people who, broken as they may be, are also trying to find and hold on to the promises? My new series, just give you a 2-second update. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, not important. But it makes us weird because we go to church on the wrong day, Saturday, or the right day, depending on how you look at it. And I've made friends with many people in my lifetime who don't go to church on Saturday and don't really get why we make such a big deal out of it. What I've come to discover is we as Seventh-day Adventists know when it is, but we don't know what it is. And this new series will begin to explore the what. And it's beautiful. See you next time.